Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on any smart bed with base. Limited time. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you or at sleepnumber.com today.
The holidays are here, and that means it's the most wonderful time of the year to save with Rakuten. Use Rakuten to stack cash back at your favorite stores on top of holiday sales. That's savings on savings. With Rakuten, you get cash back on gifts for everyone on your list. From toys for the kids, to kitchen gear for the person who loves to cook, to electronics for everyone. You can even save on something for yourself. Just shop the stores you love and cash back is automatically added to your account. And you can get paid with gift cards, PayPal, or check. Or eligible American Express card members can even choose to earn membership rewards points instead of cash back. It's truly a no-brainer. Join for free today and get a new member bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. Just go to Rakuten.com, download the app, or install the browser extension. That's RAKUTEN. Terms and conditions apply.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Handegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Walk-Ons in Bruley, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm Charles Handegriff along with Jimmy Ott. Doug Kitchen's back in the studio. We're back on our football Monday schedule here at 10 a.m., 11:40, the Frank Wilson press conference.
I got it right when I did the promo.
Yeah,
I did. I did.
So we'll see what Frank's got to say at 12 o'clock.
We talked about this yesterday, though, and you've made the comments maybe on or off the air, and what is the value of the recruiting specialist or the assistant coach with recruiting expertise, talent? How have they been devalued? Since just, all about, how much money you're offering me. And I think, and look, I'm biased. Frank's family, he's, you've met him. I mean, he's just.
Many times.
Yes. You pull, if you know his story too, you pull for a guy like this, man. I mean, that's some tough, modest, environmental upbringing, okay? And good thing he had people like my dad in his life to kind of push him in the right direction. And, man, we're so proud of him. But he is the guy for current, for future players who is the connection. And he talked about, I learned a lot from Ed Ogeron in recruiting, and we're building relationships. I've heard that for 20 years coming out of Frank's mouth. And so it sure seems like it means a lot right now.
I think there's still some value to it. The money's going to trump most of the time, but I think there's still value to relationships for sure.
But, you sending your kid off to college, you want to put – I don't know, man. I just think there's it's devalued.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, but it still matters. And I think this past couple of weeks, and we could debate how much it matters compared to in 10 years ago. But, boy, it just means they're prioritizing what they didn't, what their biggest gripe was. And Kelly and the pile-on pieces are coming. I get it. But also some of them are unveiling how disconnected he was with the current, and the future players.
Yeah.
We didn't see him at a high school games on Friday nights. Just show you. I mean, the coaches. I didn't reach out to them, Charlie. They reached out to me. man, this will pick up recruiting again. So it sure seems like from the people that you happen to win over who have an impact on where these recruits are going, the high school coaches and others and ex-players who talk, the visibility of the ex-players in your facility, all of this, it seems like it's being prioritized right now.
Yeah.
Even in an interim basis, is this connection with your players, past, current, and future?
Interim's always going to be a difficult situation because it means that something went terribly wrong. It means that somebody got fired, okay? It means that the season went off the rails. So you're asked to come in and instantly, I know you had an off week, but almost instantly rejuvenate the attitude in the building, change whatever is realistic to change schematically or, whatever you're doing practice-wise in a short period of time. I always used to get a kick out of Ogeron with the cookies. Like, what'd you do the first thing? I gave him cookies. Everybody was happy, okay, at USC. It's a difficult position to be put in. And I think that, Frank, the first, we've been at this a week, I think he's been fine. I think he'll do fine over the next 4 games. I don't know how much it matters if they win. If they pull an upset. They don't go lose to Western Kentucky, but I don't know how much it matters that they pull an upset over Alabama or Oklahoma. Like, I don't know if that's going to
still, come on, man.
It would help, but I don't think it's like
your fan base. It gives them something to feel good about. That is a nice consolation to beat Bama.
But is
Charlie,
it,
come on.
But is it
you're breaking this up?
You're breaking this up.
You're not playing them every year now.
I get it, but is it going to give you a recruit that you wouldn't have got money that you would have got?
No.
It would be nice, but it's not.
Can we throw the damn fan base or the supporters
a
little bit of a scrap right now?
But I don't think it's a devastating thing to the program if they lose the 2 games they're supposed to lose. If they lose, okay, don't go over there and get beat by 40.
Charlie, let me tell you, I think the school, the fans, the alums, I think they are pretty beaten down right now.
Oh, my God, how can you not
be?
If you're a sports fan in this state, how can you not be beaten down right now?
You don't even have to be a sports fan to be beaten down by some of the commentary that has humiliated the LSU family.
Right.
Okay? Everybody who's touched on it, and everywhere I look, everybody has touched on it, and they're all laughing. Mm-hmm. And that's, we don't take ourselves too seriously in this state or in this fan base, but damn it, that's a little much. That's a little much. We can, within the family, we can criticize, we can argue, but when the outsiders just, we're the butt of the joke, it's not cool. No, it's not fun.
No.
So, who they'd rather beat more than anybody.
They're playing them Saturday.
Okay. So, no, I think that is, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but we have seen way more obstacle, college, pro, whatever it is, the interim boost. Sometimes there is some. I'd say more times than not. I'd say the majority. I don't know about the vast majority, but some more times than not. Sometimes that interim boost is short term because this is all a short term process, the interim. Yeah. But I just want to clarify or distinguish. This would be a really nice deal for the LSU community to go there and beat their ass.
And let me clarify too.
And we expect a little bit more intensity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we expect a little interim jolt. Still got a block. Yeah. Didn't pick up any tackles in the bye week. So
let me clarify what I'm saying. For me, of all people, with Alabama, okay, it would be a tremendous shot in the arm for morale around here. Okay, there's no question about that. What I meant was I don't think it's going to make any difference on who the new coach is. I don't think it's going to make any difference in who the new the staff is. What's that?
Unless Frank runs the table, and this is the toughest one.
Yeah,
the toughest?
Yeah, I got to hold out that could happen. But yes,
well, if it happens,
but in general, I don't think it's going to affect the coaching search. I don't think it's going to affect the recruiting.
I agree.
So that's what I meant.
Very low percentage that it could.
That's what I meant when I said
but if I don't
know how much it matters.
This is the toughest part of the parlay.
Yeah, it is. It is.
This is the toughest part of the Survivor. Frank's playing real life Survivor.
got to be
I hope he doesn't have a bad beat.
A month in the life, right?
I hope he doesn't have a bad beat.
You know, Frank Wilson's been a coach his entire life, and when this is over, he's going to coach somewhere here or somewhere else,
right.
And it'll be, what was that month in your life like when you were the head coach at LSU? Okay, maybe it'll be great. Maybe it won't be. I don't know.
I love Frank to death. We know Verge forever, but I don't feel sorry for them. Okay, and I say it's like, man, just in a bad situation. They could have turned it down. They would have been upset if they didn't have the opportunity. As a parent, Charlie, you want your kid to have a chance. Yeah. Let's see him on that stage. Let me just see if he can do it. So as a coach or Signetti. No, I'm giving up my assistant's job here to go try and build my name as a head coach. And we're going. There ain't many times you pack up the moving van to take less money. He did because he wanted a chance. And so they have a chance. And did Orgeron, in an interim basis, improve the team at USC?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Okay, did Orgeron get the job?
No.
Okay, did it open up other doors and opportunities? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so same thing with Frank here. He's been a head coach before. So Orgeron had been a head coach before, his second stint at USC. Yeah. So their stock was down. Okay, you make a run. You improve the team, or you galvanize, or we just see a significantly improved. He's going to – everything counts in your resume. Look, Verge would be the hottest on campus if he didn't have a say-so in who the next coach was. Sure. Come on, man. No. So now you got your chance. So we'll see.
I think Verge is in a much tighter – and feel sorry for him? No, okay. These are both healthy guys with long career paths, and they're being put into a position of extreme responsibility. Feel sorry for him? No. I think that Verge is in a much tougher spot than Frank, because if Frank goes 2-2, 1-3, 3-1, by the time the new coach gets in here, I'm not sure it's going to matter a whole bunch. But it very much matters what Verge is going to do.
Let me say this: I learned this in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll see if you agree. The LSU boosters or the donors are stronger than I thought. Okay, and so Verge, and you think they're gonna? Is it a tough spot for Verge to hire a coach when he doesn't have guys, or when he's got guys?
Yeah, he's got guys.
Okay, he's got guys. All right, so that what those guys do? They make this the best job. Still, as humiliated it is, it's better than Florida. It's better than Penn State. It's better than Auburn.
Last Monday when you were off, I said I'm sort of done talking about buyouts. I'm done talking about.
We're pivoting.
Believe me. Before last Monday, that was all we talked about. It seems like when it came to coaching changes, are they going to swallow the contract?
Yeah. Well, who cares? Okay. Not mine, not yours, and they got it.
Exactly. So I'm done talking about that. They find the money every time they need it. So it's for us as outside observers, it's a moot point. It's still important. The athletic director's still got to make the call. The president's still got to make the call. They got to call the billionaire and say, "Please send me a check." But for us, it doesn't matter anymore. At least as far as I'm concerned. So we're anxious to see what Frank's got to say today. And LSU is playing Alabama. We had a huge weekend of college football in the NFL. We got a lot to get over today.
Let me jog our audience's memory and yours as well. There were some people that were really upset that an administrator from LSU stepped outside of his boundaries and got involved in a coaching search and promised things to the coaching prospect that it's not his job to promise facilities and projects. It seemed to work out all right. Little Nicky.
Yeah.
And Emmert was, wait, what are you doing, man? Oh, the people are pissed. I mean, man, you promised this? This is okay. And in the coaching circle, including my friends at Clemson and other places, what's his buyout? No buyout.
Yeah.
$1.2 million with no buyout. Oh my God!
and wants you to build an entirely new facility. And the Lawton
you're building it.
The ribbon hadn't hit the ground on the Lawton room when they hired him. I mean, it had been open for a very short period of time. It was like, I remember. They redid the weight room on the other side of Tiger Stadium. They built the Lawton room. Why they got to build him another facility? Think about how antiquated that seems now. But that was real. We called it Sabanland. Hey, are they building Saban land? Come on. There's no way that Joe Dean's going to ever build that. And they were right. Joe Dean didn't build it, but somebody else did.
But, it's sometimes, the process can take a different approach. Alabama, I'm sorry. Rich Rod, they're not getting Saban, and timing's everything. And they're not going to fire Rodriguez before 3 years, so he was going to be out of Miami before that, so he would have had to pick another job. But the timing is unreal in the college coaching search. We now 4. We knew 16 for 16 you ain't hitting that again, huh?
No.
16 for 16 SEC coaches are back this year. 4 are gone. Daylight savings time. So, and Hugh Freeze, offensive specialist, 3 points against Kentucky. Yeah. And where was that playing?
Jordan Hairston.
Yeah, these home embarrassing losses. The only one, UAB. They don't have fans, Charlie.
Yeah, 5 for 5 in the 4 for 4 in the SEC for sure.
How was your little trip?
I had a great
you go
great
see our friends there at the Boat Boss?
Yeah, I was down there. Got to go see Bob Mahoney and all the guys at
Bullet Bob
at Mahoney's. We had a good time there. A lot of LSU people down there. That has become the last 2 years that scrimmage that they have, the exhibition games, I guess I call them, against Samford, played 21 innings of baseball yesterday. A lot of LSU fans go down there. They spend the weekend at the hotel and walk across the street to play
really?
baseball. Last year they filled the park. I don't think they had quite as many this year, but they had a decent crowd. A lot of purple and gold in the hotel. A lot of purple and gold in the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
For baseball.
For exhibition baseball against Samford. 21 innings yesterday. I was pulling out.
Herb Street doesn't know who Sam is.
I was pulling out when they were I think in the 19th inning or something of 21 innings, and the crowd had thinned a little bit. That's a bit much baseball for
21 inning games.
3 7-inning games.
Let's go Ghost Runners, boys.
Yeah.
Exhibition, huh?
We're here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. Come on over. For lunch, we got great weather again today. Great place to watch games. You know about walk-ons, and what we like about the walk-ons here in Bruley is the beer. If you're a beer connoisseur, over 4 dozen beers on tap, all of your traditional favorites, plus seasonal beers as they come.
Patio seating outside with plenty of TV. What we got? 5 of them lined up across. So you have that, but when the weather's great like this, they roll up the garage-style doors, and kind of you're sheltered, but you can get the best of both worlds. Open air, great place to watch games. It doesn't, this is a great time. It's a great time to be alive, baby, here at Walk-Ons in Bruley.
Live at Bruley, Walk-Ons live at
this.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. Come on by and see us for lunch. Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net, as well as the Handycast, which is on YouTube right now. Double episode from last week. There's some leftover film stuff, but mostly we go over a lot of coaching candidates, so you can get that on YouTube right now. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com, supporting our Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. All right, Jimmy. Biggest. We haven't talked all weekend until we got here this morning. So we got a whole card. Usually we watch a lot of these games together, but biggest takeaways from the college football weekend. Biggest impact games. I'll give you the most intriguing thing for me, or one of them, is Georgia. Once again winning. Once again vulnerable, and I'm going to stop on the knee that was felt in every
winner though.
Yeah, the kneel down that was felt in every sports book in the country, but we've talked about that.
It came down before that. Let's talk about it with the game. The critical play of the game was 4th and 1 at the 19,
where they
slam
ball.
Best back
Yep.
Into the line. I think he's the best back in the league. I like him a little bit better than the kid at Missouri. And the kid at A&M, but he never had a chance. And, Georgia still, they're living on borrowed time a little bit, but they're making the critical plays when they need to, whether it's Gunnar Stockton on that fourth down throw in Knoxville, whether it's, them coming up with the play here, and then what does he do? He makes them pay. He takes them 80 yards and, gives them, provides a game-winning score. Lagway's got a guy 10 yards over past everybody, and he underthrows him, or they're threatening. And Florida was more than competitive with them last year. Florida might be slightly better than they were last year. Georgia's not as good as they were last year. And so they made a move trying to prevent Billy Napier from beating Georgia and trying to save his job again. They were going to make sure this was done. But they were there and they had him. And, man, it would have been a brutal loss if he does go into the end zone. He obviously been coached. He's the same guy that ran into the end zone against Auburn. Mm-hmm. The exact same situation. Actually, with more cushion to go down. But he goes down, and but Georgia continues to find ways to win, and I just don't think. I mean, both Georgia and Alabama have won the close games this year. A&M won one against Notre Dame, but most of theirs have been more handily, than these two teams.
What do we consider that Auburn game? With a month, it was 16-10, but we didn't feel like it was that close. A&M when they dominated the yardstick.
No, I had the 6.5. No. They weren't. They were lucky.
It felt like it shouldn't have been that close.
Oh no, it should have. It should have been way worse. The box score, the whole thing. Keep in mind, it was a scoop and score. Their one touchdown. That was the one when they went 0 for 12, third down, and two more, fourth down.
No.
All right.
No. So the reason I thought Florida at halftime, I felt okay. The Florida side was a good one because I thought that they would be able to run the football in the second half against Georgia, but they ran it a little bit. I thought they would be able to run the football better, and I didn't know how well Georgia would be able to run the football. And they didn't run the football all that well. Bowers had the one long run, but they didn't really run the football in Florida all that well either. So I thought the running game might favor the Gators a little bit more in the second half. It was a good football game.
It's a good football game.
It was a good football game.
They still have athletes. Napier, that roster's not bad. At Florida, and Georgia just found a way to, make the plays, and the only thing was they just didn't cover this time to break their little 3-game streak. But they made the plays against Tennessee, they made the plays against Auburn, they made the plays against Ole Miss. I mean, these are games where, at Florida, I mean, can you say all 4 of those they should have lost? Or maybe, I know could have, but I mean, those are less than 50-50 games, Charlie. That's 4 of them this year for Georgia. We're just not used to seeing that in this era, this Kirby era. And they're not as good as they've been, and that's hard. I mean, those teams were the best they've ever had in that program.
It is harder now in this era. Even if you're Georgia, even if you're Alabama, Ohio State so far, it seems like they're immune right now. Think about where they were when they lost to Michigan last year. Okay, going into that playoff game. Okay, Ryan Day's future was in at least a little bit of question. Amazing as it seems.
Playing at Tennessee is a little tougher than playing at University of Washington. And I know some people might try and argument that, but it is. And so they're going into these hostile environments like Jordan-Hare, like Neyland. I mean, those are tougher places, to win than going into Seattle.
No argument there. Can I tell you, though, you've been in enough sports books in your life. When he kneeled on the 1-yard line, it affected the side and the total. Okay,
you got a reaction,
just a little bit. You can imagine what it was like there. The second game I wanted to talk about is Texas, because it felt like they were in control of that game from the very beginning. The first play of the game was a little swing pass. They turned it into a 75-yard touchdown. And doggone it if they didn't – and I know Vanderbilt didn't get the ball back. The last touchdown is sort of cosmetic, but, man, those boys didn't quit.
They didn't quit, but they also didn't – they were a little low on the emotional tank coming in. And I think you and Max put them in the spot was a perfect handicap by you two, because it was obvious. I mean, this was Texas was more ready to play. Vanderbilt's success had got their attention motivationally. And the first play from scrimmage, you could see they They just outwork Vandy. I mean, those guys on that flanker screen were they were just blocked too long. The safety makes a bad angle. And Clark Lee, after the game, says, man, I'm disappointed. It's the first game where the other team wanted it more than us. And we're usually that team. Well, welcome to, you're not immune to the emotional roller coaster of, man, that was an emotional game against LSU. Game day, emotional win against Missouri that came down to the last play. That's tough, third week in a row. Manning, as usual, when he plays well, they overdo it. They're throwing his buffet. More than half of his yards were complete screen passes, complete at the line or behind the line. I mean, this was yards after the catch galore, including that first play. But give Sarkisian credit for a guy that's not performing at maybe expectation or not, he's struggling a little bit. Manning has struggled a little bit in his first year starts. We see it's enough. Get the ball out of his hands. Let him see the ball go through the hoop. Let him get into a little rhythm, and he really did it. But they also executed that screen game at a very high level. 34-6, game was over. It was all garbage time at the end. But then again, there you are. With your hands on the ball.
One onside kick.
Hands on the ball on the onside kick.
Yeah. One of the most surprising things to me was when we were watching, this is at 11 o'clock, 11:01, the empty seats in that stadium. Like a lot of empty seats in that stadium. And I bring it up not only because it's a top 10 opponent. I realize it's Vandy. You're not used to that. They haven't played a home game there since September 20th. In over a month, and I figured, well, man, the place is going to be popping. And it was loud, but
it's a little bit of a Hollywood type of crowd. I mean, they need all the stars need to align for them. Even if LSU was coming back, okay, from not having a game and same record, same situation, Texas, and Vandy's coming in. And even though that top 10,
it's Vandy. Texas is 7-2. They go to Georgia, Arkansas, and A&M. Any chance they could run that table?
Texas to get to 10-2. Georgia.
They go to Georgia. They play Arkansas and A&M at home.
It's not likely.
I don't think so either, but
there's not a game that they can't play in.
They're still here. We kind of, in my head, kind of written them off.
And
they're still
can
here.
He get better? Because he's going to have to play better, and he did. But when they were killing him, when he didn't have a running game and he had no protection, he's getting beat up. There was it wasn't quite as bad. But this, it's a little. There's a lot of cheap yardage in there, man. Yeah. So, but hey, that's what he is right now. Help him out. But the 2-point conversion on the extension to open up the back door. I've watched it a million times. I still don't know. I don't know. It's like I certainly can't reverse it.
Tip of the ball.
One angle says the tip of the ball. One angle does not. I mean, the one thing about officials, you can get on them. You can't get on them. You can get on them for being in poor position. Guy's in perfect position. He's in perfect.
He's right there. He's looking at it. Yeah.
That's what you can control, and then your eyes gotta. You're going to miss some in real time. But you get in your position is where you want the officials to be, and he was. But damn it, that was close.
By the way, my follow-up to can Texas get to 10-2 is it's a lot easier to get Vandy to 10-2. Auburn and Kentucky at home, Tennessee on the road. You pull one upset, Vandy's 10-2.
I don't think so either.
Probably not.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. His great team at Legacy Title. Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley. Live at
with Otten Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. Three best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited today. I know it was a crazy weekend of sports, amazing World Series, obviously full slate of college and pro football, but today is day one of the college basketball season, and we know how much I do love college basketball. So I'm very excited. We've already had a game in the book, so I got streams up. I have my second screen on my office, so I'm very excited for today.
Yes, no doubt. They I want to milk football first before I transition to basketball. So it's a little bit, but we love the college basketball. So we'll have to see. And you got that tournament in Vegas, with was it Florida and Arizona, Villanova, and help me out, is the late game.
Villanova, Texas.
Yeah. So we will see. Some people think that the Florida roster might be better than it was last year as the national champs, but championship hangover. We'll have to see if the young coach deals with that situation. But anyway, getting to with the World Series, and the style of these games. I mean, where was the action and where was the live action, if you know of, that was going in? I was glued to, because I had a 30-1 Yamamoto MVP ticket.
Ooh.
So that was, and I did hedge on some Vladimir Guerrero when they had the lead, and then but once Shohei Ohtani, he was going to be hard to beat. And I almost hedged before the game started, but Ohtani, four things had to happen. He had to get hit, which he did, and he had to come back to win. And maybe Yamamoto had to, or keep Shohei from having a big hit. So they had to get hit. They still had to win, and Ohtani can't have any more heroics. And it all happened. And what is Keith Law doing, Charlie? Was he tweeting last night, Saturday night?
I don't follow him.
When Yamamoto came back the night after he started?
I can tell you what he would say about that. He's a grown man, and his arm is developed, and it's different than a college
No, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I don't.
You can't have it both ways. Troy, and any of the in-game betting Friday or Saturday night in the World Series that you captured?
Yeah, live. Well, it's funny. We talk about the Dodgers. The Dodgers are a public team. They have been all year. They have been for the last fill in the blank number of years. Even when they're dominant in the regular season and they're, minus 275 on a game line, which is very short for baseball, they're a public team. The Jays were the public team in this. I mean, we took more money on the Jays to win in Game 7. I think the country got behind, the country got behind the Jays. I think we see fatigue in powerhouse teams. We certainly. I remember in the Super Bowl last year, it was heavy money on the Eagles in a pretty even matchup before the game against the Chiefs. Obviously, the Eagles blew them out, but there is a fatigue with dominant, blue-blooded powerhouses that continually make the championship games, whatever they are. The Blue Jays had just been hitting. The pitching was good. The fielding was great. They have big bats, but they had hitters. So I wasn't terribly surprised, but it's a little shocking just because the Dodgers are the it team of baseball. So we actually, on the game, we took a pretty decent-sized win simply because, the Blue Jays were a public team, even as a dog, I think a slight dog. But in-game, we did see more Dodgers because I think people were chasing plus money, and then, at down 3-1 for majority of the game, you could get decent action on the Dodgers, and they have the bats capable of coming back in the game, which is what happened. Just one thing on the World Series, it's the second straight year that a guy outside of 15-1 has won the World Series MVP. Last year it was Freeman. I got Freddie Freeman at 18-1 before the series. Yamamoto, you said you got him at 30. We saw 35-1. I saw 75-1. We took a $30 bet on Yamamoto, 75-1 to win $2,250.
Damn, that was right before the series started?
Not sure when it was. It had
I didn't see that. I didn't see that price when the series, because Yamamoto had that complete game in the NLCS, if you remember. So he kind of had a little.
After one of Ohtani's big, Game 2 or Game 3 when Ohtani was amazing. I imagine it was probably there where Yamamoto was probably 4th or 5th on the Dodgers. And then you have to slot in Vlad and, the pinch hitter who hit the Grand Slam and Ernie Clement. So he was probably like 9th or 10th after that game, and that's where you could probably catch him at 75-1. But again, to your point, the perfect storm would have had to happen, and it did.
I'm not talking about how, trying to get a walk-off home run here or even a hit. But I'm talking about, just executing, getting a couple of sacrifice to get the runner home from third with less than 2 outs, getting 2 more outs. I mean, getting a better secondary lead and running through the bag when you're forced instead of sliding to slow yourself down. The replay, I'm still trying to figure out, were they trying to review and see if the catcher's his cleat was on the plate before he caught the ball, or did he get it back? What were they reviewing? I'm still trying to clarify which one was it. Did they say, okay, he had his cleat on the bag still as he initially caught the ball, or did he get his cleat back on the bag before Kiner Falefa slid in and hit the bag? I still don't know.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. That was confusing. There were a lot of confusing replays in that game, and I wish there weren't, because without it, I mean, there's just so many good plays, so many unique plays. We had a little scuffle. When was the last time you saw benches clear in Game 7 of the World Series? Now, it's for nothing, and I think it's dumb when the bullpen guys come in, but that was a hilarious turn of events. And my favorite thing was after they settle and they get back to the mound, the next pitch is fired right back at the pitcher, hits them in the leg. So there was some fun. It was just such an entertaining game, such an entertaining series. I had a bet on the Blue Jays in Game 7, and it stunk that it didn't hit. But baseball needed that so bad. Everyone was talking about that this weekend and this week. When the Blue Jays haven't really been a popular or talked about team, especially not in the AL East. So it was just so good. Such a healthy, good World Series for baseball.
I mean, Charlie, you're sick. You Toronto fans. I mean, you're sick. I mean, the games you win by 4, 5, and 7 runs. The games they win, one is tied going to the 7th inning. The 18th inning thing where Toronto had a bunch of chances. Friday night, you got the tie-in run on second with nobody out. And then 2 outs away from. Oh, you're sick. You're sick. The right team did not win. I mean, the team that should have won here, it was Toronto.
They had every opportunity. And go ahead, Troy.
I was just going to say, I'll tell you one thing else. These are Toronto fans, and they're obviously, while they love their Blue Jays, they are Maple Leafs fans. And the Maple Leafs have been dreadful for the last 20 years in terms of making it to the finals, getting close to the finals. It's very similar to the Capitals. I know this isn't a big hockey talk, but Toronto needed this because their heart has been ripped out by very, very good Maple Leafs teams for the last 5 to 7 years. They needed that Game 7 win. They had it in the bag. So it's just in general, you got to be sick for Blue Jays fans, but for Toronto fans, they needed this one so bad as fans of their sport or of their city.
Believe it or not, that's what I was going to say, because I saw the story on Sunday morning. This street reporter it wasn't even on ESPN; it was on a news channel. The fans were there. They're like, after the Maple Leafs, we thought we were going to get some relief of this. And
I heard some post game interviews with fans, street reporters basically, and it was not quite the spiciness of, say, the Red Sox, Cleveland, or some of the others. A little bit maybe next year. No, this was a horrible beat, man. I mean, a horrible beat if you had Toronto to win the series.
I thought, a little bit of sympathetic, and I thought, hey, man, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I got the Saints, the Pelicans, and what right now is a shaky LSU situation, so I'm gonna hold off on my sympathy.
And, Troy, when is college football now become the witching hour? I mean, 10 minutes of real time. We had the Mona Lisa, Gunnar Stockton. And Charlie and I have been to the Louvre, so I've seen the Mona Lisa, okay? That was my idea of a Mona Lisa.
We didn't steal nothing.
And then we've also been to Mardi Gras a few times when you have to go to the restroom and you're like, oh, really? My only option is a portalette? Well, that was the Pick Six by Virginia. So, I mean, you talk about a sway of emotions for these covers late. It's unreal how these games come down to it. What more than Dan Vanderbilt coming in the back door in the closing line against Texas?
Right. It's just what a wild weekend of college football. I mean, I feel like that Georgia-Florida game took forever. I didn't have it on, but I was kind of flipping back and forth, and I felt like Georgia had used up all their tricks in their bag. That was one where luckily they pulled out the win because Georgia to win and Georgia to cover were the two most popular tickets. Combined, it's around 6% of all tickets on Saturday from college football. So that was huge. One, I didn't get to on Friday, and I'm glad you didn't ask me what my college football play was because I was all over Houston to just obliterate West Virginia. And, I mean, not only did they not cover 10.5, they lost. That was a top 5 play by ticket. So just some really strange things happen. Georgia Tech, a team people haven't been talking about, they don't cover. They lose at North Carolina State with a team that is also beaten Virginia, I believe. So just, right when we think we know what's going on, we have no idea.
North Carolina State has beaten Virginia, but not in a conference game.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I can't help myself.
ACC, you give bad week for the ACC getting multiple teams in. Yeah. Georgia Tech and Miami.
They're both in the ACC.
Yes, yes. I know. Troy, give us the public on America's team tonight, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, very much so. It's in 80% or so on the money to cover, and 84% of the tickets on the Cowboys to cover as well. To win, 90% of the money, 87% of the tickets, and then the over is at 87% of the money and 81% of the tickets. Over-under is 53.5. I know the Cowboys can score a lot. I don't have a lot of confidence in the Cardinals. I don't know if this is going to be a great game. Because the Cowboys can be all over the map, even though they can score a lot. But, this is one where it's not as much money as I think right now, but I anticipate it coming in over the next few hours.
Follow Troy on Twitter at Troy Macher. That's MACHIR. Great stuff, Troy. Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you Friday.
Have a good one. Thanks.
Don't forget our friends over at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime. And another thing. What? Okay, we got the house. We're going to sell. You're going to need a secession first. Well, you need a secession for a letter of testament. A letter of testament. What is that, Dana? What is that, Susan? Charlie, you need to come witness on. I mean, what is going on? Thank God for Dana Brown, the law offices of O.C. Brown. Just another instant where at some point in my life I need them for something different. So handling a lot of the stuff, succession and inheritance, letters of testament, all of this type of stuff. Number one, downtown Dana Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch.
Yes, would give a 10 lack, I guess.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Word out of Washington on Jaden Daniels, a dislocated left elbow last night in the Commanders' loss to Seattle. Undergoing an MRI this morning, sidelined indefinitely, would be shocked if his season is not over. 7 minutes and 39 seconds to go. Washington trailing 38-7 when the injury happened. Dan Quinn says, I'm gutted by it. Is he supposed to be in the game at that point? 7 minutes to go.
Easy to say now, but this is why we talk about those things. I mean, you have. I know you're emotionally involved, but you got to understand when to concede. I was in the Superdome. I was in the Superdome when Bill Belichick pulled Tom Brady. The Saints Super Bowl year. I mean,
and wasn't it late in the third quarter? I don't even think they made it to the fourth quarter yet.
He did some things that were a little bit more common now, but I mean, going forward in his own territory, on fourth down against the Colts one time because he just felt like his defense was tired and they were going. If it was 30 or 70 yards, they weren't going to stop Peyton Manning in that game. And it was Tampa Bay versus early Monday Night Football game last year, and they're getting killed. And they say, Buck's like, man, at what point did he pull some of these guys? And, I mean, Godwin broke his leg, I think, or tore his ACL.
Like 2 plays later.
I mean, it was as if he was looking on the sports app, seeing it ahead of time. Big play coming here. I mean, it was ridiculously on the money, and some coaches do it better than others. This is a miss.
Dream season for Washington last year has been a disaster this year. 3-6.
And
all
some
these
people,
injuries.
like they interpreted that Kelly was embarrassing Nussmeier. Bro, he is doing him a favor, getting him out against Texas A&M at that time. He can get frustrated. He can have a gesture. You can maybe that was, oh man, what's going on here? I don't care. He's helping you out. Check it. if you see win the sacks, I would say at least 50% of the sacks come in like the last 7 minutes of the game when it's garbage time and they're just coming up and rushing the back. Your quarterback is more vulnerable in these situations than over the course of the regular game.
We're here at the Walk-Ons in Brewley. Be here for lunch today. Of course, we'll break in the middle of the 11 o'clock hour for the Frank Wilson press conference live at lunch here in Brewley. Walk-Ons.
Well, just for the rant at Art first.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at the Brewley Walk-Ons, our extended Football Monday shows. It'll include the press conference at LSU. Frank Wilson, his first one of these as the interim head coach. That'll be coming your way in about 40 minutes. Jimmy, you watched a lot of football in your life, right?
Yeah.
You ever seen a game at the college or professional level where a team had the ball for 16 minutes? 16 out of 60. 16 minutes.
16 to 44.
I mean, every now and then you get a high school game like that that's just completely mismatched or whatever.
Or 16 and change to 43 and change?
Yeah.
There was one. It was 42 minutes in college the other day.
16:07 to 43:53. So almost 44. I mean, within 7 seconds.
The Raiders against Kansas City was similar.
Yes. Okay. Very
good.
Good.
19 offensive plays.
I should have remembered that.
Okay, that was just 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Okay. 40 plays to 77 offensive plays for the Saints yesterday against the Rams. They went almost an hour in real time without having the ball on offense between the halftime, the last drive of the end of the first half, and the beginning of the second half.
First start. Mike Delicano comes on with us yesterday and explains why. I mean, it's a good team, a good defensive team coming off of a bye.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a tough day. Every now and then he did something where he moved a little bit and showed a little pop in his arm. He had got good size,
And I think the arm's fine. The arm's pretty good. I think he's got plenty of arm. That's not.
But it was.
That's not
it
an
was.
issue.
It wasn't.
Right.
The
whole thing.
It was non-competitive, and that's, man, if you can't be competitive in the NFL, that's not a good thing.
As non-competitive as it was, it's not even the worst game of the year. The Seattle game was actually worse than this because it was a blowout by the end of the first quarter with all the special teams gaps. This is how non-competitive they have been this year. I'll give Jeff Duncan credit for this stat. 6 of the 9 games they have not led. 2 of the other 3 games they have led for 1 drive. They've had, outside of the Giants game, which they won, they have trailed for 97%, 98% of the season. I mean, there's barely been a spark here and there. I've seen messes before, but I don't even know what you look at, and I use the line all the time when things are going bad. What do you got on the spaceship that's good? I don't know what they got on the spaceship that's good. I know the trade deadline is tomorrow, and if there's any moves to be made there, but I don't know how much value some of these guys have that they would be able to move. It's just as close to rock bottom as you can get.
It's not totally unexpected.
No, it's not unexpected at all.
No, it's not.
It may be worse than we expected, but we expected bad.
There were some games they could have won.
They were in the Arizona game to open.
But the one they won, you're +5 in a turnover. That's not sustainable.
No, that's a fluke.
You're 1-8. There's a couple more. It's kind of what I expected. You think it's worse?
A little bit worse. If you'd have told me 1-8, I'd have said, yeah, okay. I thought maybe that they would be a touch more competitive in some of these losses, and they
were
a couple of them, but it does seem to be getting worse.
In New England, they were competitive.
They were competitive.
Arizona, they were competitive.
Earlier
San Francisco, they were competitive.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. We see this all the time. When you lose your 50-50 games, and those were they weren't 50-50 games. It wasn't like a true toss-up because they were losing the whole game. Okay, they were fighting uphill the whole game in all 3 of those losses. The whole game. But the thing is, I mean, we see these close losses shape team season. It'll get them going. And as And even in professional sports where you shouldn't have these emotional swings and things like that, you're playing for your tape. Man, you see it wears on weaker teams. And you're starting to see that a little bit. So, damn, what's going on in Washington? I mean, Jaden played for most of the game. They got smoked at home. They were not competitive.
No, they weren't. Now, with Washington, they are playing without 6 starters, okay? They have been hit very hard. I mean, when you lose a guy like Terry McLaurin, that's a big deal, okay? I'm not saying that they would have beaten Seattle because right now Seattle looks as good as anybody in the NFC. But more I can at least write it off to some injury concerns in Washington.
Well, that's a big deal. I mean, you look at the teams at the end, teams that making runs in the playoff, they usually have had relative health free, been on the good side of the injury report, and the ones that fall below expectations, they usually have a bunch of injuries. There's no doubt.
I don't know how much
part of it, but I'm
evaluate Shook from yesterday.
I didn't expect them to be. I expect them to be competitive. They're kind of I expect them to get blown out in some games because this roster and the weak quarterbacks and first year coach, and I expected them to kind of hang around because the NFL in some of these games, and who was New England when we thought of the season or whatever. Right. So no, they're pretty much exaczly what I thought they were.
And the Rams are good. The Rams are going to make a run.
They play weak teams every week.
Yeah.
When the Jets come.
Third to last week. No, this season boils down to 2 games for me. What the rest of this season is, I don't expect them to be close to winning a game really until the Jets get to town. And 2 of the last 3 weeks they play the Jets and the Titans, who are their 2 biggest competitors for the top pick in the draft.
And
right now,
those teams are all pretty close.
Yeah, they're
pretty close.
They're all bad.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's like on that campus this morning. The Saints Pelicans campus. I call it a campus.
Okay.
They're sharing a piece of land. The football team is 1-8, which right now has you with the number 1 pick in the draft. And your basketball team is 0-6 and has lost 3 of the 6 games by 30 or more points. Yeah. And you really can't even blame the doggone injuries with the Pels anymore. I know that DeJounte Murray is out, but everybody else is playing pretty much. And
it's another league too. It's a salary cap league, and you should be more competitive. You just can't be getting blown out in some of these games. It's not common for us to talk about the NBA. The NBA shouldn't be playing right now. Okay, it's just real simple. Move the season where it ends in August instead of early July. But they can't figure that out. But because it ties into the ownership in the compromise ownership, which is the Saints-Pelicans dual entry of professional sports in the smallest market, minus Green Bay in professional sports. Yeah, but this is a total shock that this is a underperforming entries because it's compromised, because Mickey Palumba's going to get it turned around.
No, I'll tell you this. You want to know the scariest thing for me, Jimmy, is that the owner has made 2 major moves in the past calendar year. She changed her general manager with the Pelicans, and the first thing he did was trade away what could potentially be the number 1 pick in next year's draft for what looks like a marginal, rotation piece at this point. Mm-hmm. And the football team changed coaches. And I don't know if it's fair to judge Kellen Moore at this point or for 9 games, but I certainly haven't seen anything that goes, wow, this guy really has it. He just wait till he gets some players. And like I said, I don't want to rush to judgment because I don't know anybody who could win with this roster. But I'm certainly not looking at him going, okay, this guy's going to be the guy. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But this is when you are a downtrodden team, and Lord knows we've seen enough of these things, you say, okay, listen, we just got to get to a point where we bottom out and fire the GM or bottom out and fire the coach. Well, she bottomed out and fired the GM on the basketball team, and that seems to have made things worse. I don't expect Willie Green to make it much longer, but I don't know how much a coaching change is going to change this season. They do need to change the coaches. I mean, Willie Green has lost. They're not even competitive in some of these games, so they need to change the coach.
I think in the big picture, though, and I've been guilty of not participating in, with all the offseason with the Saints and we get married. And thank God I go to Del Mar to start a training camp, so I don't have to, I could minimize it even more. But this is a good thing. because there are sacred cows and basically family in critical in impactful positions in your operation, both football and basketball, but mostly football. It has to get this bad to make a move. It has to get. And if they were 4-5 right now, there wouldn't be. But 1-8, she knows. Okay, she's getting. I've seen just different videos where she's signing autographs, and people are like, "Oh, Miss Gay, I love you, but you got to get rid of Mickey."
Yeah.
I mean, like they are beating over the head with it. She knows she's always been pretty good at reading the room, much better than her, than Tom Benson was.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's gotta. And listen, if we saw those did you see some of the crowd shots in the Tampa Bay loss where they were kind of lifeless?
I can't tell you that I remember them, but I have no problem believing that.
It's getting to that point.
Yeah.
Where the bags are there now and this and that, and she's going to see that. You see where because the way they've been able to maintain the sellout streak is selling to brokers, where you're inviting out of town. What's the next home game? Atlanta?
2 weeks, Atlanta.
You think
they got a bye in weeks, so 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. You have a bye week? Is it she made move in a bye week before? Did she not before a home game?
She did.
Last year before the 3-game homestand?
She did. There's a Panthers this week, and then there's a bye week. My fear is that if she does finally decide to jettison Mickey, I don't know who she's going to hire.
It's okay, Charles. I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances.
By all accounts, she's made things on the basketball side worse. Okay,
man, the Griffin thing. How can you falter for bringing that guy in?
No, I don't.
It just didn't work out. It was some bad luck. We have some bad doctors. I don't know.
All I know is when she fired him, it's made things worse. I can't imagine how things could get worse on the Saints side.
But then we weren't killing him for making a move. Griffin had his chances. It didn't work out.
We weren't killing him on making the move on Griffin. We were not at all happy about Joe Dumars. And
were you more than me?
Because this is the track record, and I got all the respect in the world for Joe Dumars as a player.
You thought it was compromised. It was too convenient.
Yes, and his recent track record was not good.
And when you're at Tennessee and you hire the guy you hired at Central Florida, and that's convenient, sometimes it can work out a little bit better. It's not a home run yet, but they're better.
We hated the trade when it happened. We hated the trade when it happened because that's not a trade that you make.
Oh, no.
There was no support for that. All right, so rough times in New Orleans. We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store, but also the LaRose Store and the Lockport Store. As we're getting here into the closing in on the winter months, your outdoor heating supplies are special on the website right now. They got so many different kinds of outdoor heaters, whether you small spaces, big spaces. You can get them same day pickup, or a lot of these items are available for delivery. TheThibodeauStore.com. Your outdoor cooking apparel needed. Outdoor cooking appliances needed outdoors. You got them at the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store.
Yeah, man. I was using it at the Thibodeau Store Green Egg this weekend with all the mitts to get that indirect heat, the indirect plate off of there, and going from the chicken to the beef and stuff like that, Charlie. So, man, this is a time of the year doing outdoor cooking, whether it's in your backyard or tailgating, on site, different fairs and stuff like that, cook-offs. There was a gumbo cook-off one here. There was jambalaya cook here. So in the bye week, you have a lot of these different events. The place to load up and get all the gear you need and then some. The gear you want, the desirable stuff. But all kinds of gear in different sizes and price points. The Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, Lockport Store, and LaRose Store. All of them.
And online, it's TheThibodeauStore.com. Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch.
F with a big pack. They bounce.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at Walk-Ons, where over 4 dozen draft beers for you to partake in here. All of your traditional favorites, plus some seasonal brews. We get into the colder months, a little darker ales here at Walk-Ons. We can always watch the game. Got Cardinals and Cowboys tonight. All the college football, all the pro football all weekend here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. two had-to-have-it teams on Saturday night at Neyland, both of them with 2 losses. Winner gets to keep their playoff hopes alive. Loser on the outside looking in. Oklahoma ends up winning the game. Jimmy, it felt like watching this game, it felt like Oklahoma was playing on half a field at time with the turnovers that Tennessee gave them, and even with 11 penalties, Oklahoma just taking advantage of this field position time after time, especially the gifts at the end of the first half. Thought also that John Mateer looked a lot more comfortable than he did in his first start back. Looked more amenable to running. Took some hits and bounced back. I don't know if Oklahoma can. That schedule is still really, really, tough to come home with. Although we don't know what the last game of the season is going to look like, but tough win for them in Neyland Stadium.
Oh, it was about 260 to 85 yards at half, and Oklahoma is, Tennessee in Tennessee's favor. Oklahoma has the lead.
Yeah.
They definitely have a better place kicker than other one. He was. That'll change your chart when you have a guy like that in college football who's just so much better than everybody else. They're up 7. They're driving for more, and fumble 20, a strip 20 at the 29-yard line. He goes 71, and I mean that place was popping, and it just took about 45 minutes of real time for it to get back. They deflated that place. So I mean, you're kicking the crap out of them, and yet 7-7. So I mean, this is Tennessee. The box score. Now look, some of it's garbage time at the end, no doubt, but this is one that Tennessee gave away. I'm not so sure if it's a different Mateer. He was taking hits immediately. He was coming back. He took a lot of hits in that Texas game. So I don't know if he's took some hits against Ole Miss. He only threw for 150 yards here. I mean, it was, Aguilar is Aguilar. He is going to throw the ball, make plays. He's going to throw into coverage. And that was the scouting report coming over from App State. And that's kind of what we still see. So it got away from him, though. I thought Tennessee had everything in this spot to get this done.
Without the turnovers, they probably do.
Yeah. I mean we talk about big ones, too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you drive, and you're taking a 10-0 to 14-0 lead.
I will say
short fields.
I ended up looking at the net success rate afterward. Oklahoma was better than I thought.
What is net success rate?
Success rate, just each play wasn't successful in terms of moving the chains. It's a little bit more methodical. It takes out some of the noise of big turnovers or explosive plays, like a big breakaway play. It takes some of that out. And when you took that out, I mean, you look at it in the box score as well. Oklahoma had 11 penalties for 104 yards. I mean, Oklahoma shot themselves in the foot themselves a couple times. So I think I thought that as well Sunday, that Tennessee just shot themselves in the foot too many times.
They
but
did.
Oklahoma did it as well. So I think, to be fair, Oklahoma was a little better than I gave them credit for.
But those sticky situations when it's too close to punt, do you go over it? And there's a lot of people going for it, more than ever, on fourth down in college football. And they got a lot of teams missing. So this is why there's a risk factor. I mean, you talk about some real game-altering plays, but, the percentages, they're going by the percentages. And this is, when you have a kicker like this, I mean, it was putting it right down the gut on 45 to 55-yard field goals consistently in college. There ain't many of those guys out there. That makes it easier to manage the game. So 2 even teams that, I mean, you make these type of game-changing, these type of impactful plays go against you, it's going to be hard. I would add 28-19 first downs, 456 to 351 total yards.
Yep, and the 3 turnovers. In the preseason, number 2 team in the country was Penn State. Number 4 team in the country was Clemson. Both of them fell to 3-5 over the weekend. Penn State, we know what's happened to that season. They fired the coach, quarterback's out for the year. Not competitive, really, in that game against Ohio State for very long on Saturday, and then they got Indiana coming in this weekend. So I think we know what the deal is there. But Clemson's still playing, though, Jimmy. They are still competing, and they had an opportunity to win that game on Saturday. It was a high-scoring affair. Had a chance at the end, and Duke Scores, goes for 2, makes it, wins the game 46-45 to drop Clemson to 3-5 and 2-4 in the ACC.
4th and 10. Ball is for Duke, down 7, about the 20-yard line of Clemson. Ball falls incomplete, never had a chance. The defensive back looks like a safety or a linebacker. Definitely is making some contact and restricting the receiver. Marginal call. I wouldn't have thrown the flag. Marginal call. You gave the ref a chance. There was an infraction, but it really didn't. It wasn't going to impact the play, if that makes sense. So that's what Dabo went nuts. But that's not the only time that Dabo went nuts. He crushed his team, his defense, during one timeout. Coaches do it. Okay, that's fine. He's coaching, but it's unusual for him. And just wonder, didn't Brian Kelly on the way out get a little bit more confrontational with his players and his staff? I don't know. It's just something. This was different. And guess what? Guess who played his ass off?
Klubnik.
Yes, he was out. He was great.
It was.
Duke and Clemson didn't bring their defenses. I tried to say that Clemson was overrated before the season on defense. I didn't know they were that overrated.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a track meet, and even when they're driving, I'm saying if they score, you got to go for 2. This is an offensive game. I mean, up and down the field.
Nobody's going to get a stop in the overtime.
No. I'm going to decide the game
conversion
with my offense.
Yeah.
I could go down to one play. I know Clemson didn't want me to go for 2, and you also have a great quarterback who you trust. They ran a nice play design. It's wide open. He's just got to hit the back, which he does. Mm-hmm. He's going to make the throw. And Mensah is really, really, really good, Charlie. He is really good. His approach is like Penix was after all those injuries. He can move, but he's not running. He is strictly moving out of necessity whenever he runs. But his passing is elite. And
I was delighted to see them with Duke plus 3.5 to go for 2, whether they made it or not. So I was thankful to Manny Diaz for that.
But went off at 4.
Okay, I missed half a point, but. The most surprising thing to me is we understand what happened at Penn State. You may not agree with what they did, but you understand what happened. You played 3 absolutely ridiculous non-conference games, so you didn't challenge yourself. You lost a heartbreaker, and then you went out and laid an egg in California, and then the whole thing went to pieces, and you lost your quarterback for the year, and basically Penn State has mailed it in for the rest of the year. I don't see where they got – I know they played Iowa close, but I don't see where they got much of an interim bump. Clemson is still trying. Clemson is still playing. Clemson's best player is still out there busting it. Their coach is still in place. They haven't had – that I can see a rash of injuries or anything like that. They set up the schedule to win in the ACC. You know me, I don't like to bet futures, okay? I think there's too much unknowns for me to put very much of my money there. But I bet 2 futures before this season, and one of them was Clemson to make the playoffs. I thought that they were the class of that league, and I could not have been more wrong. So this, to me, is more surprising than Penn State. I understand what happened at Penn State. Clemson is still trying, and they still can't win.
To be fair,
Dabo has had a history of keeping his guys playing hard.
Yeah.
He's done a good job of it.
Because there's not a lot of outsiders.
We recognize it when your goals are gone because it's hard to do. Billy Napier, that was the hardest thing. That was the most impressive thing. He kept his guys playing hard.
The best part of his job last year. It was.
Yeah, I mean, and look, they got it before he had a chance to beat Georgia. What were you saying, Max?
To be fair, this was actually the biggest variance in net success rate for a losing team. Clemson outgained them by 120 yards. By the way, these two teams combined 8 of 8 on 4th down, so they were worth going on. 4th
this is your favorite game,
right? How's the game flow?
Offensive. Yeah, but Clemson was maybe a little unlucky to lose this when you really look into the box score. I will say this. If you're an LSU fan, there's one positive to look into this. You might be still hearing the Aggie War hymn echoing in South Baton Rouge right now, but you're the real Death Valley. Clemson has lost 6 straight at home against Power 4 opponents. 6 in a row at Death Valley.
Well, they're 1-4, 1-5 this year with a win over Troy, where they had to come from double digits down.
Yeah, they were down.
They've got 2 ACC wins.
Yeah,
on the road.
Duke jumped on a 14-0 also, and it wasn't flukes. I mean, we're talking about tight ends, 70-yard plays. I mean, just where is the defense? type of stuff. I think that, yes, Clemson was much closer to win. It's a tough beat. The 4th and 10 interference call. I mean, marginal. I wouldn't have thrown it. So, yeah, they got a monster break. But Duke was never out of it. It was never where they were.
It was never a 2-score game, was it?
I don't believe so. Well, yeah, Duke had a 2-score lead.
Right.
They were 14-0 and 21-7.
2-score. They were never down 2 scores.
Clemson may have passed them by in a box score along the way, but they had an uphill climb because they were just. Duke jumped on them so easily. Keep in mind the Duke Georgia Tech game was so misleading. You want to talk about a deserving team, not winning the game. What stats you want to bring up, but this Mensa, hey, they spent on, and this is his first year at Duke. I mean, he is making throws. He doesn't have super size. I think he's a shade under 6'2". They list him at 6'2", but he's making throws from the pocket a lot. He moves well. He has a tremendous touch and accuracy. He's really, really good.
And
because Auburn's got Spencer Arnold.
Jackson Arnold.
They spent money on the backup. He ain't any better. No, the backup's no better. I mean, Hugh Freeze specializes in offense. He scored 3 at home against. No.
They hadn't signed Mensa to a contract extension yet?
They signed a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have him for 2 years. He'd be gone.
I was making a joke, but you know.
Did we get that one right in the offseason? How are all these mega powerful programs? Duke got the guy ahead of him.
They jumped in quick. They jumped in.
I know, but still.
They jumped in really.
Auburn should not get outbid by Duke.
No, credit to them. Credit to Duke.
What would Auburn's record be with Mensa? Try to think about all the tough games. This guy's so much better than Arnold.
No, he miles.
You might win the A&M game. You definitely win the Georgia game. You win.
I'm just looking at.
How many close?
You lost to Oklahoma by 7, A&M by 6, Missouri by 6, Georgia by 10, and Kentucky by 7. So you haven't lost. Your biggest loss was 10 points. So let's see. That's 5 losses. Give them 2.
Any
sure,
one
maybe
of them Mensa could have won.
Yeah.
So expecting to win all of them might be much, but
give him 2 or 3 out of the 5. Give him 2 or 3 out of the 5. That's fair.
Oh, I'll give him 3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Yes.
I'm not going to give him A&M, and I'm not going to give him Georgia.
Comfortably 3 out the 5.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about this level of play,
Yeah.
and I mean, the polar opposites from 1 to 136.
Think Auburn cares about the Tulane game from the other night?
Auburn, yeah. The Yellowwood was a Troy supporter too.
He's from Huntsville, so John Summerall.
Yes.
Grew up in Huntsville.
Yes, that's it. He's a homeboy.
That could work. That marriage could come together.
Don't forget our friends at. We were over here at Walk-Ons doing a show, and we're doing Rio Cantina. We were over there and over at Las Palmas, the Las Palmas family of restaurants in the area. Been around for quite some time, and we rotate doing shows over there once a month. But affordable Mexican food, family-friendly. Check out Las Palmas and Rio Cantina.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley. Live at lunch
Tuesday. Talk to you with the man.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at Walk-Ons are also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, because when it comes to retirement, no 2 situations are exactly alike. So let Phil Fontenot and his staff take care of you. Coastal Capital Advisors. They'll tailor-make a plan for you. No matter where you are in life, no matter what your income level or your age, they'll do something that is perfect for you and for your family. That peace of mind that comes with a lifetime relationship. I know, because that's what they have done for our family. Go to coastalcapitaladv.com. That's coastalcapitaladv.com to set up an appointment. Member FINRA SIPC. All right, we're a few minutes away. Frank Wilson will take the podium. Jimmy, what are you expecting here from Frank? It's I don't know.
Similar way we've heard him, talk about taking the pride. I'm sure they're going to ask him about getting a lot of the ex-players and how pivotal he believes that.
You see the picture from last Thursday that they took it?
Yeah.
A lot of them went back there on Thursday.
So in the bye week, rallying the troops and, it's very important to have your ex-players visible, especially the higher profile guys, the most successful guys, and the kids lean on you. And it adds an element of pride, where pride is a challenge with the guys moving from playing at 3 schools on the average compared to 1. And so look, you put on a damn tape, you put on the games on Saturday, the product is better than ever. It is better than ever. You see guys that are playing for the big teams that deserve to be playing, that had to take a little smaller college path and stuff like that. And you see, because everybody's got their tape now. And now it's known also that, no, it's not a 4-year deal when you sign your letter of intent. It's an annual deal. And so if you want to stay at a desirable program, you got to put out tape. If you want to make more, you got to put out tape. If you wanted to go from a small school and go to the next, a better condition and better pay, you better put on tape. So the product is better. And he might talk about the recruiting aspects, but he's going to be talking about Alabama too. And they're going to ask him if they're going to get a little extra charge of energy. And we all expect it.
Absolutely, I do. And how can you not be more excited about college football? If you're at Indiana, at BYU, at Virginia, at Georgia Tech,
It's not fun in Baton Rouge, but the growth of the game, it needed it. Everybody thinks they have a chance now.
Yeah.
And it was just shut off to the superpowers of the SEC for a big run. We enjoyed it.
Game growing.
But
all right, Frank Wilson's press conference, and then we're back on the other side at Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch.
Raph Key from the live ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at the Bruley Walk-Ons. Come on by and see us here. Have a little late lunch with us here. And, of course, Monday Night Football, all the games, you have them on here. A lot of college basketball. It's the first day of that today. And, of course, you'll get the Walk-Ons food, but also terrific variety of draft beer here. Over 4 dozen on tap here, including seasonal brews that change out regularly, so you can try a little something different or go back to your old favorites here at Walk-Ons. I'll tell you, my favorite part of that press conference, Jimmy, was when he basically gave you Harlem Berry's life story or the story of his commitment. Because he didn't just...
He left some things out, too. I'll share with you.
Okay, well, all right, but so on demand, and I understand that Harlem Berry was a huge recruit, and he's from, where Frank is from, and he knows the family going back to when he was in school. But when you can sit there and say, okay, this is where Harlem Berry was playing, and we recruited him back in the 8th grade, and I went to school with his dad, and his grandfather's a musician, and his mom is in Zulu, and she went to Warren Easton, and just
evaluate him at Nord.
Yeah, at Nord. Detail after detail, okay? Frank's not detached, okay, from this. And listen, I'm not going to jump on Kelly anymore. We've done enough of that, but he's as involved as it gets, okay? That's the level of intensity in recruiting. That's the type of attention to detail. Ogeron was really good at that too. He could tell you not only the recruit, but he could tell you his brother's name, his sister's name, his grandfather's name, all that stuff.
Frank will tell you that he Ogeron mentored him in recruiting, and as I've maintained, he's one of the most respected recruiters, Ogeron, for many, many years in college football. Yeah.
So when you're that dedicated to it, then he went into what they're doing now. Yesterday I called all the 26, tonight I'm calling all the 27 guys. Tomorrow I'm calling all the 26 guys. The Power Hour's back. I don't know if they did the Power Hour while Kelly was there or whatever, but listen, the level of commitment is there. Power Hour is when they call recruits and the entire staff is in the room.
Okay.
They pass the phone around. They answer all the different questions. You might have a position coach hand it to a coordinator or to the head coach. Ogeron was famous for that stuff. It is a high energy, big contact hour.
Rohan Davey shared with us yesterday that he had met with Jared DiNardo like 9 times. He had met with David Kelly maybe 15 or 20. he didn't leave South Florida in the U, and the U had put some pressure on him. And they promised him some favorable things as well. I mean, they put it on him. It took a lot to get him out of South Florida. And, I know it's going to be pile on, Kelly, but I have no problem with piling on something that I said very early, that we've had guests on, said, I don't think he's going to be able to recruit a championship roster. Tim Murray. That was years ago. He's a flip of the coin. Do I think that Brian Kelly has that knowledge of Harlan Berry's family? No. No shot. No shot. Do not know that Frank Wilson invested more time in developing a relationship with Harlan Berry and his family to know from Warren Easton to Zulu and to Nord evaluations because he was trying to be nice, not a traditional power. But Charlie, it was a hell of a recruiting process for years for Harlan Berry by area high schools.
Yes.
Okay. Because what are you doing here? You can't sign. Frank Wilson said, hey, you don't have to go anywhere else to get noticed. You're on the map. Trust me. You don't have to go to Curtis, to St. Charles Catholic, to Rummel, to Brother Martin, Jesuit, whatever. You don't have to. St. Aug. You don't have to. You can stay. You are on everybody's radar, but they tried and tried. Sure. I saw him play in person in basketball. They actually lost in the state championship, or then were awarded the state championship because of ineligible players for the team that beat them in the finals. And it's easier to tell with those tight ends, see what kind of footwork it helps him with. But you can tell he sticks his nose in there. I mean, so, and he did zero pass protection at St. Martin's.
Of course not.
I mean, he's carrying the load, man. So, no, Frank Kelly, and look, the pile-on piece this past weekend in the Advocate, they're coming. It happens and stuff. But as far as the recruiting and not really even knowing some of the names, things like that, Kelly didn't phone it in, but he sure put on cruise control with that 10-year deal.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I get where you come from with the pile-on pieces, but the biggest theme of them is
laziness,
lack of effort. Yeah.
Okay. And that was something that's not. You didn't hear that for the first time on this show.
No.
After he got fired.
No.
This was years.
No,
this was years.
Even from I told a story last week. Hey. You got this job a month ago. Nobody's seen you, okay? And I got the blowback really hard on that, which is fine.
I'd rather hear. That's fine too. But if you're busting at recruiting,
yeah, right, exactly.
I mean? Nick Saban actually used to get aggravated. We know this is the guy. They won the national championship. He got aggravated. They didn't pour the damn Gatorade on his head properly. All right,
right.
Okay, we saw. I mean, this guy's insufferable. But he legitimately got a little aggravated. It cut into his recruiting schedule. Yeah. Being involved in a championship game or stuff like that. So.
And I know you were at the same press conference I was when Jerry DiNardo got the job and said, I am leaving from here to go to some place that's very important. And everybody in the room knew what he was talking about.
Jerry recruited hard. He didn't have this place didn't have the branding.
It did not.
No,
in fact, its branding was very hurt. Everybody in the room knew he was going to Karen Crow to talk to Kevin Falk because it was the most important thing he could do first.
No, everybody usually works hard.
Yeah, we never got
that.
And it's like, okay, well, if we don't see you because you're grinding it, fine. But
and in defense of the hire, I made a call. I'm sitting at Windsor Court before joining you on the phone last week, and I'm calling. Man, did he have this type of lazy reputation? No. So you didn't have that lazy reputation, even if so people want to. It's easy to criticize a hire. Now we were throwing a parade. That was a heck of a get.
I'm not going to second.
Heck of a get. And if it wasn't $54 million price tag, it was going to be 40 or 45.
Yeah, I'm not going to second guess the hire. The resume was in line. Okay, well, and he probably talked a good game, and he didn't deliver. So it's over. But it's not like any of these pieces are contradictory to each other. They all have a common theme. And that common theme was lack of effort.
Max was reading it to me while we were watching games at the Queen yesterday. I was like, Lazy. You know, the one. Yeah, no doubt. That's exactly what I said.
You too lazy to read it yourself? You have Max reading it to you?
I don't read on game day, boy. I'm looking at enough figures and moving line and moving parts on that screen.
He uses audiobooks.
Okay.
No, don't give me that crap. Okay.
All right. So some of the other things, morale is high. They came together and reflected. Okay. Well, you expect that. That's part of the.
It's
that's
improved.
part of the bump.
We know that. Just how high. We'll see if it translates to a more competitive effort and a tough spot Saturday.
From a football standpoint, Carius Kern being questionable means that DJ Chester may have to play left tackle. He talked about flipping Weston Davis to the left side, and I guess going with Chester on the right side. Let me be the first person to object to that. Not a big fan of that. I like this first idea better. I mean, you're down a couple of guys, so do the best you can. So they reflected on some of the things. He says, not like we did everything wrong. Okay, yeah, that's true. I mean, there were some things that were good. Try to do those things. I'll be surprised if we don't see Michael Van Buren in this game in some capacity, a play, a package, something. He's talked about him 2 or 3 times now in his media availability. So
I'm glad he talked about Ty Simpson's no statue back there.
No.
He might not be Marcel Reed, or Taylor Green. Who was the other one that we had? Diego
Pavia. Yeah.
He moves well, though. He moves well. And he's smart about when he needs to try and get, on a conversion down or whatever.
And 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. Oof.
I got to believe Sorsby had a couple maybe this past weekend when they got hammered.
Interceptions?
Yeah, because those were the two 20 TD, 1 interception guys.
Yeah, they had like 5 turnovers in that game, so I think so.
So he's now the leader in the country TD interception ratio.
21-2, Sorsby.
Yeah. So he went through 1. Okay. So there you go. Fine line.
Physical practice in as far as inside running drills and things like that. That's fine, and they need that. But didn't they scrimmage during the Texas A&M week? Am I remembering that correctly? Not a full-fledged scrimmage, but a much more physical practice schedule that week than what you would have in late October ordinarily.
They talked about instilling physicality, at the very least.
Yeah, okay. I applaud him for doing this. I applaud him for doing it last week. It's not that it can't be improved, but we're in November. That's the kind of stuff that's really drilled into you from the beginning of the offseason. I hope he can improve it, but I don't know that I can expect a massive change. Your identity is
no. I think what he's trying to do there is open it back up and have a more full contact evaluations.
Instill some toughness, yeah. And
I as far as doing it or not doing it right now, I think it's just, man. Okay, I got to believe that. No, maybe we're going to evaluate right now. And so, if it's close and we're considering, let's see who wants to play in the closest simulation to an actual game. I mean, you have to – that's why you have to full contact at some point to fully evaluate your guys. Yeah. I mean, you see when they go in the game, and sometimes that's too late.
But it's just usually it's not just related to the season.
I understand.
These are exceptional circumstances.
You can tell me he's the last interim coach to kind of throw out maybe some unorthodox things like a full contact. Okay.
He should.
Right.
He should. That's the right thing to do.
Right.
The last thing I want to talk about is he said no opt-outs, and I think this has drastically changed over, I would say, the last 5 years of football. Jimmy, when Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey opted out of the bowl game, which, hard as it is to believe, was only 10 years ago, but it seems like it's ancient history. That sent a shockwave through college football. That had not happened before. And in those ensuing years after that, you saw more and more people opt out of just the end of the season, or in a couple of cases, more than just the end of the season. I think it's gone back in the other direction now. You're not seeing these guys, even with the slew of interim coaches we got. First of all, transfer portal's not open, but just saying, hey, you know what, I'm opting out and getting out. And I think the reason is the same reason that NFL players that are on bad teams don't mail it in at the end of a season, especially if they're not a star. Everybody's putting tape out there for the next team. Everybody's out there trying to decide what their next step is, whether it's at LSU or another school or the guys that can declare for the draft or whatever. And if you just opt out now, if you just say, "Hey, my coach left, we can't go to the playoff, I'm out." Well, you can't do that and make a favorable impression on your next coach, your next team, your next situation. So I'm happy for that trend because and the bowl games are still the bowl games. People are going to opt out for that. But I'm talking about in the regular season, guys just saying, you know what the hell with it? No. They're still in it.
Maybe because they're getting paid now. Maybe
that too.
They have to. I don't know. I can't imagine they're too school friendly. As far as, no, you got to play so many games or something like that. I mean, they're back. So, I don't know. But the thing is, it's so many general managers or former general managers have said, no. When things are going their worst, that's when we put the closest microscope on.
Yeah.
We want to see when your team has fallen below, your team goals. And we see those Clemson players playing right now, the Penn State players, LSU players. No, they're looking at them even more. Somewhere along the line, that has gotten conveyed to the players.
Because it's easy to do it when everything's going well. Anybody can show up then.
It's much easier, but you've heard those same general managers. I mean, I mean, things are not. It's sports. It's football. It ain't nice, and things ain't going your way the whole time. I mean, it's so. But when it's easy. It's a term for a reason. Front runners. Well, that might be the guy that looks great when things are going bad. But when things are going bad, what do you do? So, no, somewhere along the way, it's been conveyed to and I think that's the best thing about college football in our era now. I mean, these guys are playing for tape, whether it's for the pros, whether it's for the current school, whether it's for one that they want to try and move up the ladder and get to a more high-profile, high-resource program. I mean, whatever it is, man, the product is damn good. It's bash the current climate. You put on that TV on Saturday, them guys are getting after it.
We're brought to you by Total Maintenance. Time to get the heaters checked as we get into the winter months. AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing, Total Maintenance, your one-stop sales and service shop for all of them since 1980. The slogan is service today, every day, so nobody goes to sleep uncomfortable. In both Baton Rouge and New Orleans, full-service staff, authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daykin, and Rheem AC units, Generac and Cummings generators. And again, time now to get those heaters checked. For all your electrical and plumbing needs as well in Baton Rouge, 480-1000 in New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Take our final break here at Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. Remember, the show is available on demand at 1045ESPN.com and LouisianaSports.net. Brought to you by Supreme Rice, helping Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. Monday Night Football tonight, Cardinals-Cowboys. Opinion?
Give me Jacoby.
Yeah.
Better passing team with him than Murray. So, saw it against the Colts. Probably should have won that game. Could have easily. But... And that was a game where Harrison went out midstream like, oh, gosh, he's without another weapon, and he was really good against a quality team on the road.
Cardinals have – they're 1-2 on the road, but all three of the games have been close. They lost one of those games at San Fran by a point, the other one at the Colts by 4, so they have they've been highly competitive on the road.
All 7 of their games have been decided by one possession.
One score game?
4 is their largest loss, 4 points. Lost 5 in a row, but all by 4 points or less.
Should be a lot of points. Dallas is really good on offense.
It totals 53.5. That's
might be a little low.
High.
It's high.
I know that's a high total, but maybe not for
the NFL.
For these,
it is.
Groups. We'll do more NFL tomorrow. But how about your Broncos? Fourth time that they have trailed going into the fourth quarter. They're 4-0 in those games.
Stroud injury is massive.
No, it was.
I mean, Mills.
I thought it was a dirty play too.
Mills kept it around for a little bit, but then it was. You could see it was a matter of time. I mean, that's just really lucky by Denver to kind of just because they were not going to win that game. If Stroud finishes, yeah. I just don't see it. I mean, he's running plays. He's got no confidence. He's punting on 4th and 1 where everybody's going for. He's got no confidence in Nix. But Nix makes some plays at the end of the game.
They're 7-2.
So if he can find a quarterback for maybe the first 50 minutes of the game, and then he's got a closer in Nix. Huh?
He needs a bullpen guy.
Yeah,
he needs
he needs a starter.
He needs a starter. Okay, maybe an opener. We'll get an opener.
How much money, yearly salary, was on the mound in just last night's game for the Dodgers? Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell, and help me out.
The total.
That guy. He's pretty expensive.
Once you add Ohtani, it's over $1 billion. Then
technically not making that much money this year because they
whatever, man, whatever.
Yes.
I mean, so you had the pitching, and then what do you think about Snell and Glasnow saying it because they were Tampa Bay when they lost to the Dodgers in the World Series? If you can't beat them, join them. Oh, that really. The fans of competitive ballots don't want to hear that.
That was the COVID year, right? They played the thing in Texas.
I believe so.
They played it in Dallas.
I believe
yeah,
so.
that was in Arlington.
But man, your role players were huge, and all the stars, and all that money on the mound that we saw in one game. Your top 3 all came from somewhere else. Other teams, they're all Hall of Famers in your lineup, in their prime. And it was Rojas, it was Pajes. I mean, making unbelievable plays. Kike is as good as he is. What the hell are you doing there, boy? Get out the center field this way. I mean,
Jimmy, do I feel bad for Toronto fans? Yes. When they start bringing up the money thing, I kind of turn a blind ear. They're 5th in payroll. The Blue Jays spin on their roster, too.
No.
Let's not act like they're some cheap team
but
either.
This was – I mean, they were down to their 2 elimination games in Seattle series. Okay, but then they flipped it here. They lost a heartbreaker in 18, and then they still come back with 1 to win 2. But you can't tell me that it was a it was a poor base running mistake on Friday night to get doubled off. I mean, you got to let it. But on third, you got to get a better break. You can't let that play on Friday night limit you and limit your jump on Saturday night, and it did. And it did. And the other thing, it's a force. Bases are loaded. You're forced at home. Don't slide in. It's 1 out. Even if 2 out, it's a force out. Run through the bag. That's the quickest way you're going to get there. So a guy that's, he's not great at the plate. He's not great at the field. One of his attributes is his base running, and he blew it there. So they blew a bunch of this is his work. But an all-timer, Charlie. I mean, tell me a better World Series that came down to 12 different plays that kept this team. And I'm not talking about a walk-off home run here. I mean, you just need to execute the base runner and move him. We need to execute base running properly. We need to get 2 outs against the 9 and,
the best World Series, my favorite World Series of all time, and not even because my team won, was 91 when the Braves and the Twins, and Game 7 went 10, and Morris went to Root, and that was, to me, that was a great Kirby Puckett in Game 6 to get him to Game 7.
This is what
this was more. I think even than that
3 wins of 4, 5, and 7 runs. They're not close. All the close games went the Dodgers' way.
Yeah.
Even the one that they won, I don't know, maybe 6-1 or 4-1, 5-1, whatever it was, 6-2. It was tied going to the 7th inning.
Yeah.
I mean, and a guy we kill all the time because the front office is making the moves. It took Roberts made a lot of right moves in this World Series. He really did. Now, some just happened to work out. Rojas is still in the game. Mm-hmm. Okay, worked out. Pajes is a replacement. But he let his pitchers go. He let a guy have a complete game. He brought in his guys for maybe a 5 or 6 out save instead of a 3 out save. He had to avoid that bullpen that had seen the mound for the bulk of the regular season. And so it was just Toronto's killing themselves, man.
One more thing on Toronto, Max, to your point. Didn't they finish second in the Ohtani sweepstakes?
They were. They felt like they were watching airplanes, right? Yeah. They thought an airplane was coming in. Ohtani was.
They thought they had him, and I don't know what they would have signed him for, but it wouldn't have been cheap. And I thought it was creative in the first game when they won the game by 7. They were chanting to Ohtani, "We don't need you." Okay, that's funny. That's like Duke's basketball fans. They come up with some funnies sometimes.
So,
but they're not. They should not be poor mouthing at all.
I think it was Winnipeg, which is not even close to Toronto. and at their hockey game during the intermission. This year on the World Series. So my point is, Canada was kind of all in.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid in Edmonton was saying it was distracting how the fans were watching the game and they were on the ice.
That was in the Toronto game.
That was Edmonton.
Oh, at Edmonton. Yes. All the way across the country.
I'll take Canadian geography for 400, Alex. We got to go.
Max knows it. Max knows the quickest way from Burley to Toronto.
Thanks to the folks here at Walk-Ons in Brewley. Great place to come get a brew and watch a game. Tomorrow we'll be at Mike Anderson's. From Max, for Jimmy Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.